Hey guys, it's Dave at NoRecipeRequired, and I'm going to do another meal kit review for you. This one from Home Chef. It's their chicken Kiev. We'll take a look at it there. And this is going to be interesting. This is going to be an interesting one for the dish, but another one because I've got my kids running around. So I'm going to be cooking like many of you are going to be cooking live with all the chaos going on. So forgive the noise. What we've got here is a couple chicken breasts. We're going to pound those out. We've got some breading material, a little parsley for garnish, parsley and butter and garlic actually. Parsley's for garnish. It's also an ingredient in what's essentially a compound butter, which we're going to top our chicken with. And then we've got some green beans as well, which we're going to prep and cook off as our side. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on our chicken Kiev here. Along with the package came 2 of these pats of butter, and it says bring them up to room temperature. I'm going to actually unwrap mine because mine are not room temperature. They just came out of the fridge. So I'm going to unwrap these, and this is going to be our compound butter. We're going to add some parsley, some garlic to these pieces of butter, but we need them to soften up a little bit. So we're going to throw that there. We're going to set that aside. Everything, this is some parsley. We're going to de-stem and chop up some parsley. Everything came, pretty nicely packed, and it all looks fresh. I'm trying to pull the top leaves off. The only, my only problem was this little bottle of oil. It's actually leaked a little bit in the package. So there is a little bit of oil film kind of on everything. Not a huge deal though. We're going to take these pieces of the stems from the parsley, toss it. We're going to chop the parsley by bunching it all together. You try and get as tight as you can, push it all in there, and then we take our knife and just go quickly through it. We're going to do that. I'm going to finish the parsley. Then we're going to do our garlic. It says to finely mince the garlic. I put the knife on it, give it a whack to flatten out, and then go through chopping that up. And then finally, we're going to do the same. Well, we're not going to do the same. We're not going to crush the beans. We're going to clean the beans by just going through and taking the ends off both sides of the beans. If you want, a lot of people will leave, let me find a good one. They'll leave this side, this end of the bean, still on, and just take off the stem end. You can certainly do that, or you can take off both bean sides. I'm going to get this stuff done, then we're going to come back and prep our chicken. Okay, so I got my beans cut. I got garlic and garlic and parsley chopped fine. I took out my chicken breasts and patted them dry, and now the instructions are to make some butter, make our compound butter, and to pound out our chicken breasts. And I love that they're showing this technique, or using this technique, which is take your chicken breasts, you throw them in a bag. This is the way I actually do it all the time, and I love that these guys at Home Chef are using the same technique. Put it in the bag, squeeze the air out of the bag, get it sealed. Now, if you don't have a bag, you can just lay the chicken between 2 pieces of saran wrap or plastic wrap. But once you get them in the bag there, you lay them out individually. And then you can use a meat mallet to pound them out. You can also just use your hand if you don't have a meat mallet. Or, what I often use, what I almost always use, I got a wine bottle. I drank it a long time ago and just filled it with water. And I actually find this to be kind of the perfect weight. And you really, the thinner side of the chicken breast, you don't have to touch. You're really just going to go to the thicker side. Give it light little taps until the chicken is the same thickness throughout. You're looking for about 1/4 inch. And this, by getting it the same thickness, it's going to cook at the same time or the same speed. These ones did not need a whole lot of pounding. So, we're going to take these out and we're going to lay them down. We're going to set them aside while we make our butter. Okay, so we're going to make our compound butter now. My butter has been sitting out. We've got our parsley. It says to add about half of it. Add half of the garlic as well. It does not say to add a pinch of salt, but I'm going to add just a little pinch of salt and a few tracks of pepper. And we're going to mix to combine. If this is why you want the butter to be a little bit soft. If it was rock hard, it would be really hard to mix together here. And if it gets too soft, then it's just going to kind of melt on you. Yummy, Kara, huh? The kids have arrived. All right, so we're just going to mix this together. Then it says to form it into 2 discs, which frankly, there's some techniques to do. You can lay it on saran wrap and roll it up, but the easiest thing is probably just to kind of lift it up and divide in half. And then you've got kind of disc 1, you can put disc 2. You can use your spoon to form it up a little bit. But remember, it's going to go on the hot chicken and melt pretty quickly. And then, let me see, does it tell you to put it back in the fridge? Put this on a plate and set by. So if it's super hot, they're going to melt on you. So use your judgment. You don't want them to melt. You want them to just kind of stay soft like that. Cool day today, so I think I'm okay. We're going to come back and roast our beans off. All right, time to roast off our beans. I got my oven preheated to 400 degrees. A little bit of olive oil on the beans. Good pinch of salt. A couple grounds of pepper. And I've got a baking sheet here that I've lined with aluminum foil. You want to make sure you toss that seasoning, toss the beans, the olive oil. They all should be nicely coated. And then we're going to line our sheet, or we're going to lay the beans down rather, in a single layer. And then put them in this 400 degree oven. It says about 11 to 15 minutes. I'm going to set the timer and go check on them at 10 because I like my beans kind of on the rare side, still on the crispy side. So that's it. We're just going to throw them in. We're going to start our chicken. Okay, so let's go ahead and get going on our breading for our chicken. This is a package of flour that I'm going to go into a mixing bowl. This is going to be kind of step 1 in our batter. And then this is a package of panko breadcrumbs. I'm going to go into a different mixing bowl. And this is essentially forming a breading station. What we're supposed to do, it says take the remaining parsley, throw it in with the panko. Honestly, it doesn't say take the other half of the garlic. I'm not sure what to do with the other half of the garlic. So the recipe kind of missed on that one, I think, unless I'm completely missing the read. But I'm going to assume we add it to the panko. I'm going to stir it in, get everything coated there. And then to our flour here, it says to add a 1/4 cup of water. And we're going to whisk that in to form what's called a loose paste. Now, I actually had a little bit more than a 1/4 cup in my thing here. I actually still got a little bit less. Because depending on the humidity and your environment and the flour and all that, it might take a little bit more or a little bit less. So we're definitely not going to need a ton here. This is looking pretty good. So we've got step 1, step 2 is going to be the panko. I've got my chicken breasts over here that we pounded out earlier, and then I also put salt and pepper on both sides of them. You want to make sure they are well seasoned. And we're just going to take one breast, lay it down into our flour mixture, get both sides well coated, and then move it over to our panko mixture. You want to press down, make sure the breadcrumbs adhere, flip it over, you can do it again. You're trying to get it nicely coated all over. And then I'm going to go actually to this cutting board because it's dry. Once the panko is on there, you don't want to hit it with any moisture or water. We're going to take those off. Right there, just move the panko around a little bit, try and get it nice and flat. And we'll do the other one. Now the canola oil that came with the recipe is already, I put it into a frying pan. Still a non-stick frying pan, just because why not? A little bit extra safe. And that is on the heat, warming up. You want to get it to, probably 350, 370, maybe even up to 400 degrees or so. Temperature doesn't matter a whole lot, but you definitely don't want it too cool. And we'll show you a little test to to make sure it's not too cool. You want to make sure it hits the oil and we get a nice fry on our breadcrumbs. I'm gonna go wash my hands. Okay guys, so we've got our chicken here. I just came right over. Our oil is on the heat. Now this is the panko breadcrumbs, and to test the temperature, I'm just gonna drop a few in there, and that's what I'm looking for. That nice kind of sizzle. If you're not getting that sizzle, the oil needs to be heated up a little bit more. I've got about 2 minutes or so left on our green beans, at least on my green beans or mine, because I'm gonna go check them out in about 10 minutes. And we're gonna lay our chicken in there. You should see that again, nice movement. Notice I'm starting the pan towards me and laying down. That's gonna prevent the oil from splashing on me. And I'm just gonna leave it alone. I want that chicken to just kind of fry in there. If you need to modulate the heat, obviously do so a little bit. If it starts smoking, that's too hot. But don't really fiddle around. You want to get a nice golden crust. Leave it there for about 3 minutes. All right, so my chicken has gone about 2 minutes or so. I'm gonna pull my green beans and just give them a little, right? They actually need a couple more minutes. So I'm gonna put them back in. They're probably not gonna be ready until our chicken is done. Now, those are back in the oven. Let's take a quick peek. Now, you don't really want to fiddle with the chicken a whole bunch, but after around the 3 minute mark or so, come in and just do a little lift. See how golden brown it is on the bottom. If it's starting to look really, really dark, it's definitely time to turn. These are going to go another 2 minutes or so, and I'm actually going to turn the heat up a little bit. Alright, so these chicken breasts now have gone for 4 minutes or so. Easiest way, I think, is with the tongs. Spatula, you know, a little tricky. I'm going to go ahead and lay them down again. Notice I'm starting here and pushing away from me. If the oil splatters, it's not going to splatter on me. You're looking for this nice, I got a good golden color. Oof, trying to get them both in the center pan there. There we go. Second side won't take as long as the first side. And I'll let these go for 3 minutes or so on the second side. Alright guys, so my beans are done. You want to go ahead, I just gave one a kind of a final taste there. You want to make sure they're done to your likeness. Likeness. They're going to look just like you. Make sure they're done to your desired temperature. How about that? We're going to check the second side of our chicken. That looks great. I'm just doing that to show you. You don't need to cook it on the second side. What we're going to do, we're going to kill the heat. And I've got a plate with some paper towel sitting right here, and we're just going to lay that chicken on the paper towel, let the excess oil drain off. There we go. These are going to be super hot. Let them rest for about 3 or 4 minutes before we serve them up. Alright, we've got our chicken now. I just let it rest for a minute or so. I'm going to lay it on our plate, and we've got our flavored compound butter, which we're going to lay right on top, and that's going to start melting in there. And then we take our beans, these delicious roasted beans. And if you wanted to go a little like lemon juice on the beans or something like that, I think that would be a nice little touch. Stack them high, and then, well, that's the dish, right? We're going to go ahead, take a couple pictures, and then we'll come back and give it a taste. All right, home chef fans, so that's what it's supposed to look like, and this is what mine looks like. It was a pretty easy recipe to do. The frying is always a little bit tricky, but most importantly, let's see how it tastes. Everything, these are the beans. Everything came fresh beans. That one was a little tough, but could be just the way I cooked them, a little bit undercooked, but not bad. The chicken itself was fresh as well, smelled good. Tastes like chicken, shockingly. So I actually I really like chicken like this. Might be a little bit under-seasoned. I could have put a little bit more salt and pepper on there. We've got, let me try where the butter has melted in. I think that's probably going to be a little bit tastier. The shockingly, butter makes things taste even better. Chicken's got a really good texture. It's tender. And clearly, good piece of quality chicken there. I think this is a great dish. Thumbs up. The only thing I complain about a little bit that jar of oil, it did leak. Leak in the box, so it was a little messy unpacking, but really not a big deal, and there's plenty of oil left. So I'm gonna go ahead and say thumbs up to Home Chef. Good job on the chicken Kiev. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description. Check it out. Let me know how it goes. All right, guys. So I enjoyed making this chicken Kiev. Home Chef, thumbs up. I think you did a good job. Fans, please don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what you think about this dish, about anything in the comments, and I will see you next time on No Recipe Required.